There was a time when I thought the seventh floor was as far as you could ever go. The elevator doors open with that gentle, almost apologetic chime, and you step into a world of softly humming consoles and climate-sealed glass, walls lined with shelves of memory orbs stacked like citrine candies in the glow. It's quiet up here, like the city keeps its breath held just for us. Most people don't notice the silence, but I've always felt it every morning, slipping off my gloves and watching the static shimmer between my fingers. Routine, right? You catalog the day's finds, run diagnostics, render yesterday's dreams into something you can shelve. Standard stuff for an archivist. But that morning, George stopped at my console with a frown and a little tug at his collar, which I knew meant trouble. "Well, Ren," he said, "I'm afraid there's a snag with the new sphere index. Doesn't match any known calibration." He lifted his cane, pointed right at the far shelf. Artifact 1,107 times. The one with nobody's name on the spine. Errant data, he called it. Would I please take a look? A simple enough favor, and he had that half-pleading crinkle at the edges of his eyes. So I said yes. Next thing you know, I'm gliding across the resin floor toward the mystery shelf, pretending my heart isn't monkey climbing up my ribs. All I wanted was to scan it, tag it, and get back to clearing last night's backlog. You know, do it right. Impress George. Get him to stop double-checking my log entries like I'm still an intern. But when I unplugged the sphere, it flickered, just once. The hologram fuzzed from gray static into a spinning storm of light. And then, there was a face. My own face, but not me. Their hair was silver, but wild and long. Their eyes were my eyes, but older, lined. I nearly dropped the sphere. My thumb was still on the memory tablet, breath held, scanning for corruption, but the console just beeped. No errors detected. That was when things started to slant. Memory orbs zipping across shelves, whispers that weren't audible but settled right behind my teeth. Not scary, exactly, but so unfamiliar. I forgot the rest of the room. I could have just reset the index, filed a report, called it a glitch. But something in that frozen not-me face demanded another minute. That's when I noticed it. The date in the metadata wasn't from our era. It was from 100 years in the future. Addressed straight to Ren Valeris, Senior Archivist. My hands went cold. There's a protocol for temporal data. You don't interact. You don't view unauthorized records. But every rule I'd learned felt miles away, and the pull kept tightening. So I pressed play. Suddenly, I was inside the sphere's memory. Or maybe it was inside me. It was a city so like ours, I almost laughed. The same mirrored towers, the same sky split by gold tracers and floating rails. But nobody wore gloves. Nobody scanned their memories into crystalline orbs. People just wandered, whispered, laughed. The Ren in the memory, this future me, wandered too, but not as an archivist. They made tea on window ledges, listened to music with strangers, let wind rattle the leaves from paper books. No record keeping, no catalog, just living. I thought, for just a second, if I let go of the rules, if I stopped carefully filing every day into a safe little shell, would I disappear too? Would the Ren Valaris that belongs on the 7th floor evaporate, untethered from history? Panic hammered inside my chest. I stumbled, fumbled the sphere, and for an instant felt utterly lost. Like maybe I'd tripped into a crack between what's real and what we all agree to call real. That was when George's voice cut through the room. "What have you got there, Ren?" I almost lied. I almost locked the sphere, hid it back on the shelf, and kept my future self a secret in the static. But something in me, maybe that same part that notices the silence, made me tell him. I played it back. Let him see the other Ren, the unarchived city, blank where logs should be. George watched in silence, fingers dug into the brass of his cane. When the memory ended, he just said softly, "Sometimes, the archive lets us see what we're not ready to lose." He smiled, sad and proud. "Maybe you're not meant to file this one," he said. "Maybe you're meant to feel it." So that's what I did. I didn't shelve artifact 1,107 times that day. I cradled it in both hands and sat in the quiet, letting the memory replay until the hum of the real world broke through. When I finally plugged it back in, I didn't file it under anomaly. I didn't write it up at all. I just watched the dust settle in the sunlight and let myself sit, really sit, for the first time in a year. The next morning, I slipped my gloves off a little slower, let the static dance between my fingers as long as it wanted. George noticed, of course, smiling past his orange lens. He didn't ask about the sphere again. I still scan, still catalog. But when I look out at the city, I wonder what else is possible that isn't in the records yet. Maybe the archive isn't just for preserving the past. Maybe it's a reminder that someday, what matters most won't fit onto any shelf. And now, whenever I catch my own reflection between memory orbs, I remember, whatever the rules say, whoever you think you're supposed to be, there's a life waiting just beyond what you've decided to archive. And that's enough to wake up for.